Alright, hi everyone. Today will be the start of me streaming slash recording Baldur's Gate. The original one, however, the enhanced edition of the original one. I'm a big fan of this game. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time, honestly. Specifically Baldur's Gate 2. This one I've actually only played maybe a few hours of total, and I didn't get too far in. But I'm going to try and beat it. So, I'm actually doing this on... No, I don't want to do easy mode. Core rules. So if you see here, that would be like, I think this uses D&D to second edition. So that would be D&D second edition rules, pretty much straight up. This game actually had very complex like combat mechanics, magic mechanics, and everything, especially for its time. I think it came out about the same time as the original Diablo, which definitely was a very different game. If you played Icewind Dale or even Neverwinter Nights, this game is very similar to that. So you can pre-generate a character, or wait, actually that's what I want to do, I think. Yeah, alright. So tonight mostly just me creating a character. The character creator for this is actually fairly complex, as it tends to be for Dungeons & Dragons. So the stream is going to be really short tonight, still. Alright, let's just go in. Then you get to choose a portrait. I think you can do your own. Oh yeah, alright. Now I'll pass on that. A lot of options, although some of these are actually used by other characters in the game. If not all of them, I'm not sure. Probably not all of them. I think this is the one I usually go with, I'm not sure. Let's go with this one. Alright, so race actually can impact what you can be class-wise in this. So I'm actually going to use my second edition book that I have here, or my Baldur's Gate 2 book here, to make sure that I don't mess up on this. I think it's about the same. So each character, this game has a party system, and you can have up to 6 characters in your party, including your main character. And you like get party members throughout the game, as tends to be with most RPGs. And they have pre-assigned classes and everything. So an interesting aspect of this game is if your main character dies, then you automatically get a game over. On the level that I'm playing at, if any other character dies, they're permanently dead unless you get a resurrection spell, which only comes later on in the game. So it's usually fairly good to get not a pure squishy character as your main character, just because you can continue on if any other character dies. Although I may save scum to prevent that anyways. So humans, I believe, can be everything. Half-elves can be most things, except for paladin, oddly enough. And then a lot of the other races have a lot of limitations. So you'll see here, each race has different abilities, like half-elves get resistance against certain magics. Infravision, if you don't know, is the ability to see in the dark. I believe it's up to 60 feet. I'm not sure if that's the same in second edition. A lot of all of the races have a bunch of different skills. So, like, half elf gets less benefits than an elf, just straight up, but they get more options as classes. Human gets, I believe, like, I'm not sure what benefits they get in this. Humans may not multi-class. I didn't actually know that. So the options for classes are Fighter, Ranger, Paladin, Cleric, Druid, Wizard, Thief, Bard, Sorcerer, Monk, and Barbarian. So there's a lot of options, and even within those, there's like specific specializations you can do. Unfortunately, with this game, you have to choose the race first, so that again ends up limiting your class choice later on. So for now, I don't think I want to be a paladin, so let's go with half elf, since that's safe take. So class, like I said, with all these, apparently can. Huh. It's been a while since I played this game, so there's some things I didn't remember, like Shaman. So these, I'm gonna look through a little bit. Interesting. So I guess this is actually new in this version of the game. I do not remember this in the old version, where it makes it a lot easier to multi-class. Multi-classing was always very difficult in the old game, just because like the limitations of one class affect the other class, and knowing what can multi-class with what is always difficult. So there's some interesting combinations here. Like that's very odd. Mage Thief, I believe one of the first characters you find is actually a Mage Thief. So that's partially just to make the game progression easier, just because if your main character isn't a thief, you then can't do a lot of things unless they gave you a thief right off the bat. Later Druid. Weapons restricted. Interesting. I think we might just start off with one class. Hopefully we can multi-class later if we want. So you'll see here they have a lot of information on each class. This is all from, again, 2nd edition D&D. Each class usually has limitations. Fighter has like not really any limitations, but they can't use any spells. A lot of these others have spells or have special abilities, but then like can't use certain items or weapons, can't use certain armor, that kind of thing. I think I might actually go Druid. Let's see what the specializations are. Alright. Druid is actually pretty sweet, just because they get a lot of different spells and they can like shapeshift and everything. So they can be both like a melee fighter as well as a spellcaster. Sorry, my chair's catching. Alright, so let's try Druid. And now here's the specializations I was talking about. So these just gain slight advantages and then gain slight disadvantages from the regular Druid. So this one essentially isn't a shapeshifter, but instead it gets like an animal companion type thing. Six turns. Summons are actually pretty strong in this game, partially just because they can be used to block doors and create choke points. Shapeshifter effectively turns you into a werewolf. May not wear any armor, that's pretty big. And no other shapeshifting abilities. So that's a very limited one. This one is very interesting looking. And I think I might go for this one just because they can transform into some interesting things as well as get more spells. This is basically more of a spellcaster druid, as can be, which makes sense why they give you spells. Yeah, let's go with this one. I don't think I've ever done this one before. Alignment. Druids can only be true neutral in 2nd edition. I think they might have kept that in up until like 4th edition. I think 5th edition it's a bit more. Alignments aren't too big. So, an interesting thing about alignments in this game is you can actually be evil. A lot of times in Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, DMs will limit alignments of characters to be only good or neutral, just because it's a lot more difficult to run an evil campaign. And in this game, you can just be fully evil and just kill whoever you want. Of course, you can get punished from that, just like the guards will come after you and that kind of thing. So I've never done an evil run on this, and I might at some point, but for now, we're true neutral due to being a druid. Ability system. The way this game does it is a little odd, just because it is roll-based. But you can just keep re-rolling as much as you want, and you can save rolls. This is a fairly above average roll, so we'll stick with it. Let's see. Ability to lead. I'm actually not certain what I need for it. For the spellcaster, I'm probably gonna need either wisdom or charisma. I think charisma might be the spellcasting ability for druids. Let me check that real quick. Alright, let's see. Second edition. Doesn't actually say. I'm not sure. This is actually a big deal. Based off of this, the fact that it says wisdom is requisite of priests and charisma is requisite of druid, I'm gonna assume that that's the main spellcasting ability, so we'll adjust that a bit. Wisdom we need a minimum of 12, so we'll stick it at 14. Intelligence isn't exactly important for druid. However, this game is quite interesting in the fact that it actually keeps things like literacy. So if you go below an average score of 8, you then cannot use scrolls or things that require reading, which is really interesting. And I'm honestly glad for it, because it makes dump stats. Dump stats are usually an issue in games like this on paper, and it makes that a lot more difficult to do. So strength affects damage, dexterity affects armor. I'm not sure it affects armor in this game. Constitution affects health. Intelligence affects spellcasting for some characters, as well as a few other things. Wisdom is this, which is mostly just for clerics, and charisma is persuasiveness. So let's distribute the stats like this, and we have one stat left over, so let's put it here? Sure. Alright. So, you'll notice in here, it describes proficiencies of weapons. If you do not have a proficiency in a weapon, then you get a penalty for using such a weapon. And every weapon here, there's obviously a lot more weapons in the game than are listed here. However, these are the weapons listed here that, by my class, I can use. So druids can normally only use, I believe it's non-metal weapons, which I'm not certain why these are options. Maybe there's non-metal options. However, that severely limits weapons I can use, so we'll go with one ranged weapon, so the sling. Just one slot makes it I can use it without these. And then we have to choose one of these. So quarterstaff is a common choice. Club I think is a one-handed, usually. So we'll pretty much go with quarterstaff or spear. Let's go with spear. Oh yeah, so now we have to select spells. Interesting. So I think this is actually just me memorizing the spells, so then I can choose that each rest. When you create a mage, you have to choose which spells you want your character to know at all, which can be difficult. This is a lot easier of a choice, so we'll go with the cure. So you notice there's a lot of things here, like Thaco and such like that, which isn't too important to know. Saving throws obviously are important. So let's go with Cure, Entangle, and duration 3 rounds. Let's go with this. So Entangle is an odd spell because in this game a lot of the spells that are area effects will affect your party. So this is only good if you want to stop enemies from reaching your spellcasters, because it also entangles your melee characters as well. So it's a bit questionable. Alright. Appearance. They updated the models on this and such. So this is hair color selection. Let's go like that. Skin. I'll be an aqua or elf, water elf. It's very small. I wish this took up the full screen. There we go. Clothing. Suppose dark colors might match the best. Sure, let's go with that. So much blue. Blue is the best color. Alright. Now I have to select the voices that we hear for a character. So this can play a lot, so it's a bit important. Just so it doesn't get annoying.
Your life ends here. Time for a bit of the rough and tumble.
Bit of Irish accent there.
Let's give them a right thrashing.
A right thrashing.
Get over here.
Get over. Alright.
Death to you all.
No.
Your life ends here.
Alright, let's go with that one. Sounds a bit young, but not too annoying. Alright. Name. Like that. Alright. So here you can see all the stats. Everything looks good. What's this? Aha. Oh, this might just have been only for multiplayer. Hopefully not. No druids? Alright, I guess we'll save it in clear. If it is only for that, then alright, actually we should be able to import. Let's see. Hey, there it is. Sweet. Don't have to recreate it. Appearance, we already got. It's fine. This one, I think.
Your life.
Yep. Then name. There we go. And here we go. Will not actually create a party. Just because it's a bit odd. Like, normally you're supposed to start as your own character and just find new characters later on, so we'll just go with whatever the game throws at me. Difficulty. No. This one. This is how the game was primarily played originally. It's definitely very punishing. So let's see here what the different things are. Almost probably the biggest one is the party members cannot permanently die. In this one, they can, so you have to be very careful, and it's incredibly punishing. What's this? Significantly more. Oh, jeez. That sounds incredibly painful. So apparently, you can change it throughout the game normally. So let's just go with
Nestled
Boros.
atop the cliffs that rise from the Sword Coast, the citadel of Candlekeep houses the finest and most comprehensive collection of writings on the face of Farron. It is an imposing fortress, kept in strict isolation from the intrigues that occasionally plague the rest of the Forgotten Realms. It is secluded, highly regimented, and it is home. Within these hallowed halls of knowledge, your story begins. You have spent
When
most
voiceover
of
like
your
this
20 years
happens,
of
I'll
life
probably not
within
speak
this
up too
keep's
much.
austere walls, under the tutelage of the sage Gorion. Acting as your father, he has raised you on 1,000 tales of heroes and monsters, lovers and infidels, battles and tragedies. However, one story was always left untold.
Oops.
Heritage. You have been told that you are an orphan, but your past is largely unknown. Lately, Gorion has been growing distant from you, as if some grave matter weighs heavily on his heart. You have asked about his concerns as gently as possible, but your queries have been in vain. Your sole comfort is the knowledge that he is a wise man, and you know he will tell you when the time is right. Nonetheless, his silence is troubling, and you cannot help but feel that something is terribly wrong. Today, Gorion has appeared more agitated than ever, and now he has uncharacteristically interrupted your chores in the middle of the day, imparting hurried instructions for you to equip yourself for travel. He has handed you what gold he can spare, but given no clue as to why. Nevertheless, you now stand before the Candlekeep Inn, ready to purchase what you need for an unplanned and unexpected journey.
Basically, it's a typical RPG. You don't know too much what's happening. You're thrown into the scenario. Still a bit more background than a lot of RPG stuff.